Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Voices Beyond Borders Season 2. First of all, I want to thank each and every single one of you for your love, your support, and your encouragement during Season 1. This entire thing started with just one crazy idea, zero budget, and it grew into a community of people who all come together with a shared voice. I promise you that Season 2 is bigger and better than ever. We have some amazing guests and experts and professionals who cannot wait to share their stories and their experiences with you. Stay tuned and thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Voices Beyond Borders. Okay, so today I'm very happy and I'm very excited to introduce you to our two amazing guests. They are the runner-ups for the 6th season of the Boulay Brother Dragula. They are the one, the only. They are the amazing super monsters, Grey Matter and Auntie Heroine.
It's our
monsters.
Auntie Heroine and Grey Matter, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and your busy lives, I'm pretty sure, to being on our podcast. We are so happy to have you with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, Auntie and Grey, before we get into the list of questions that I already shared and all of the details, can you please introduce yourselves to our audience? Who is Auntie? Who is Grey? And what do you do in life in general?
Ray, you go first.
Okay. Hi, my name is Grey Matter. I'm from season 666 of the Boulay Brothers Dragula. And the season ended not that long ago. So
Yes.
I don't know. I'm excited to go on tour with Auntie, and we're just going to see where life takes us.
Awesome.
What was the question? It's who I am and what was it again?
Just introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Easy enough. I'm Auntie Heroine, also from the season 666 of the Boulay Brothers Dragula. Well, it's the beginning of the year, so it's nice and like chill right now. So I'm having some good R&R. I'm also getting over being sick, so if I sound a little different than I did in the season, don't judge me.
You sound perfect. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. So Grey and Auntie, of course, we're going to discuss Dragula in a bit. But before we go into the details of shooting Dragula and how that experience was, I want to take it a little bit to the beginning. Your start in drag. How did you find out that you wanted to do drag in life? Those early days, how did that happen and why did it happen?
Yeah, so I'll go first. So I started off in the haunted house community when I was 16, and kind of was the first time I felt accepted throughout school and stuff. I found my weirdos, and in the beginning I was very male presenting in all of my monsters, and then 3-4 years later I came out of the closet, started embracing the color pink and sparkly things and watching Drag Race. And then in 2016 I watched my first episode of Dragula, which just felt insane to me because it was just everything I liked about darkness and being queer and drag. So my characters began to evolve into more like wearing lashes and contouring and sparkling everything. And I'm like, this doesn't quite fit in with the haunted house that I'm running, but who cares? Like,
Mhm. Exactly.
it's a little weird being in a non-queer space, being a sparkly, eccentric, little goblin or whatever. But yeah, it kind of just pushed me out of my comfort zone. And then after season 5 of the Boulet Brothers Dragula, seeing Orgotic on the show, and after seeing Dali come back, I was like,
Mhm.
it's time to throw my hat in the ring and just see if they want me, if they're interested. And thank God they were.
Thank God they were. Awesome. Well, thank you, Gray, for sharing that. Auntie, what about you? Is it similar, or do you have like a different story here?
So how I got started in drag, right?
Exactly.
Well, I was oh boy. Okay. So when I was in college, probably 11, 12 years ago, we did a big, huge LGBT conference. It's called MimbleTech, MBLGTACC. And it was a big deal for me as a young queer person. It was just this big LGBT conference, and we were going to be hosting it at my university, and we were going to have Bianca Del Rio as the main entertainment, and I didn't know who she was, and I was going to be working with her. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I should watch whatever Drag Race is. And I just fell in love with it. And so during the time that I got to meet her, that same semester, I also took a queer theory class. I love anything involving the LGBT community. I've been, pretty much ever since I went into college, being 18, I've been always super immersed in the community, and learning about, I guess, gender expression really helped me. I learned what non-binary was, and I've always felt that I wasn't trans enough to be considered transgender, and I never really identified with being a boy, but I didn't really identify with being a girl. So I just kind of was like, okay, I got to do whatever. But then learning about, the idea of non-binary and how there are more than just two genders out there, it really opened my mind to that idea. And that was the same time that I started doing drag. So I did the annual charity drag show that they did at our university every year. And it kind of all just culminated into one thing at the same time. I came out using they, them pronouns, came out as non-binary. And I think my drag journey really helped me move in that direction because it allowed me to be the person that I always wanted to be. And then that slowly turned into who I was outside of drag. So it was kind of a big explosion 10 years ago. So I've been doing it ever since.
I love it. And if I may say so myself from my end, thank you to both of you for actually doing this and being the amazing artists that you are. Because trust me, like I come from across the world, from a very, very small town in Lebanon. And you are such an inspiration to me. You have no idea, just seeing you on TV or on social media, I'm obsessed. I was introduced to the world of drag during COVID. So in Lebanon, we have, I would say, pretty much a very big drag scene. It's the biggest in the Arab world, but it's a little bit underground. And since I used to live in a small town, not in the capital, I wasn't exposed to any queer culture at all. So during COVID, I got introduced to drag through Drag Race. And I relate to something that Grace said. I love Drag Race, I love all the queens, but I didn't see myself, if I were ever to do drag, being this girly type, blonde, wearing pink. I didn't see myself in that type of drag. But then in I think 2022, I watched the 3rd season of Dragula. That was the first season I watched, and I was completely obsessed. I was like, do you know when something is like, I finally found the thing that I love the most? It was like, this is it. If I ever get to do drag, this is my aesthetic. This is what I want to do. I'm a very shy person in my day-to-day life. I work in corporate. Like, I'm completely not into the, like, yeah, completely that type of person, very structured, very strategic. But if I were ever to do drag, I want to have the complete opposite personality and persona and go into like the gore, the horror, the extreme, that type of drag. So seeing Dragula, it was like I found something, and then season by season I get to meet a lot of amazing queens online and just fall in love with their aesthetic and their drag. And season 666 was no different, because I got introduced to both of you, and now I'm obsessed with your aesthetic. So again, this was a long story just to say thank you so much for doing all of this.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing.
Awesome, thanks. So Auntie and Gray, I'm pretty sure starting drag was not easy at all. What would you say were like your biggest challenging, especially when first starting out?
I would say allowing myself to do it. So when I I was first dabbling in drag and doing more like full femme presenting drag, which I had a lot of fun doing. But I kind of realized that I could mix the two and like enjoy that more and kind of tie and be able to do it more at the haunted house. And so I think it's just allowing myself to do it and not try and focus so much on what's being done around me, and just focus on what makes me happy, what gets me up in the morning, working on stuff. If I have some vision and I'm working and playing with the materials, there's no bigger high for me. It's like when I get off work, that's what I want to go do, even if I'm exhausted. Like, it's a passion project. It's something that
makes you feel alive.
allows me to get out. I get my frustrations out. When I'm happy, it just makes me more happy. So yeah, I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, I think you answered my second question as well, my follow-up question. But yeah, my follow-up question was, despite these challenges, if there's anything that make it worthwhile, like the opportunities. And I think you just mentioned it, just this feeling you get out of performing and being in drag makes everything worth it.
Yeah, and especially the fans also coming and being able to enjoy my art with me. It is something I do for myself, but it is really great knowing that, some people in the world also love it and inspired or look up to it. And I'm forever grateful for that.
You have no idea. Like, everyone I know here in Lebanon, they are obsessed with both of your styles. So you have huge fans all across the world. What about you, Auntie?
What was the question again, since we had overachiever over here answering two of them?
Basically, what were your challenges when you first started doing drag, and what were the opportunities that came out of these challenges?
Okay, I think my biggest challenge was from the very beginning, I always did bearded drag and I always did alternative drag. And being in a rural setting out in the Midwest in the US, it's heavily dominated by pageant culture, which is very traditional. You have to, it's female impersonation, you're trying to look like a girl. So I was not able to be booked in a lot of places because I was bearded and because I was very alternative. I just kind of did what I wanted to do. And I think that was definitely difficult for many years to overcome this idea that even within my own community, people did not like or support me. So that was definitely probably the biggest challenge for me. But I took that challenge and I pretty much just said, okay, well then, and this is the number one thing that I tell a lot of drag entertainers is, if you can't get booked, book yourself. So I created my own show, and I wanted to make sure that it was open to all people. So it was my first ever all ages show, which kind of paved the way for me doing a lot of work in the community for underage LGBT people. So we had a little. I was an art student, so I just used the gallery there to create gender galleries, which was the first show that I did. And I think from the beginning, what came out of that was this community cultivation. I created this space for a lot of people who either could not get booked, whether they were underage or they were like me, an alternative, or it gave a place to people to see drag that were either, again, underage, whether they were sober, didn't want to be in an alcohol setting, things like that. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is all the community experiences I created for people, and that's probably my favorite thing that's come from drag.
I love this. I love hearing this. And I think, in a way, both of your answers answer to the same thing. You are creating spaces for yourselves, but also for others as well, where they can thrive, they can see themselves, and also feel safe. So that's very amazing to hear, by the way. Auntie and Gray, I want to go a little bit into your drag aesthetics. So people have this like misconception about what alternative drag is. So in your opinion, how did your drag aesthetic first happen? Like, was it something you already knew you wanted to do it, or was it like, has it evolved over the years? Like it started as something, then evolved into something else. What are the inspirations? How did that happen?
I would say it's definitely a long, slow process of playing with either makeup or costuming or, what you want to present. And there's no better thing to get better at something than actually practicing it. So just working with materials and just finessing them to get the exact outcome that you want definitely has evolved over a long time. Nobody starts off great, except for maybe some of these TikTok queens, but I definitely started crunchy, and when I was doing femme presenting drag, I had people help me in the first few things, trying to get my face shape right and trying to get all the things tucked away and all of that stuff. So I think once I started mixing my monsters with more drag, is when I became more happy with it and found that I can't run around a club booping people on the head, out of drag, but when I'm this weird goblin, it all just comes out and I can just really do whatever I want. My signature, I think, started 3-4 years ago. I kept putting something down the center of my head, and it was always like a different thing, as either teeth or I used to make these weird little cross hatches that I would put there, but then I adopted this one, and I pretty much put it in every single look, even if it doesn't belong, because it keeps me identifiable.
I love it. Actually, Gray, you have, in my opinion, one of the most distinct and amazing and breathtaking aesthetic out of the entire Dragula franchise. Like, I love it so much. And if I get the chance, I really hope I get the chance to ever get into drag, I would always love to, I would gravitate towards that type of drag. It's not the fact, and also it's the fact, as you just said, you can completely lose yourself in it and just be whoever you want to be, and that's the fun part of it. Exactly. What about you, Auntie?
What was the question again? Grandma forgot.
How has your drag aesthetic evolved over the years, and how do you find the inspiration for it?
Oh, yeah. Well, as I said, I started in a very heavily pageant area doing drag, and I've always been, I've always looked up to pageantry and, pageant queens, the title holders. I just loved the way that they carried themselves. I loved the just the glamour of it, truly enchanting. So I've always been very drawn to that, but I've just never liked at least for myself, I never saw myself as a soft painted beauty queen. I just loved the beauty aesthetic. So I in anti-fashion, just took the two things together that don't match and forced them to love each other. So I think I started out, again, pretty crusty, just like Gray was talking about. That's very normal. You've got to start somewhere, and sometimes fear keeps a lot of people back from doing that. So you kind of just have to start wherever and expect that you're going to be a booger for a while. But yeah, like meeting people, creating that family within the community and of other drag performers where you're kind of helping each other and grow. I think what really started to move me towards the anti-heroine aesthetic was a couple of things. One was me looking at Wednesday Westwood, which is one of my biggest makeup drag inspirations, and just kind of like seeing other entertainers how it's like you really have to go up. Because I was trying to hide this. I was trying to hide my big brow bone, and I never thought that I could be super feminine with just this big chunk up here. And so I just found every way possible to hide that. And I think the way that I approach drag makeup is it's very much about becoming something completely different. I didn't want to be recognizable. I wanted to hide all of my natural features. And the best way to do that is to go big, draw up, go dark, bold lines. And those are the kind of things that kind of differentiated between me in drag and out of drag. And I think once I kind of held on to that aesthetic, it was pretty much just the bigger the better. And over the years, if you can find any pictures, you can just see it gets bigger, it gets darker, it gets more pointy, and now it's just this full-fledged character. And I kind of lean towards that. I think a lot of people have said like, oh, well, you don't really change it up much. I'm like, well, yeah, this is the brand. Like, exactly. If I were to change my makeup, I wouldn't be anti-heroine. I would be, Miss Susie Q over here, trying to pretend to dance for tips.
You know what I love about your drag aesthetic, Auntie, is yes, it is like alternative, but at the same time, you can see the pageant influence in it. So either in like your silhouette or like in your finesse and the finishing and everything, it's still very alternative, but it still has that influence. And I love it. And I think I realized that, if I'm not mistaken, it was episode 1 of Dragula, the Horror Icons runway. Completely obsessed with your shape, with the way it looked, because in my opinion, it was very fresh. I have not seen alternative drag done in that way. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's like combined this, how do you say it in English?
Like polish and gore.
Exactly. The polish and the gore. It's amazing. So yeah, you've perfected that perfectly, I guess.
Thank you. I think we shouldn't pigeonhole each other into what we think we need to be for drag, whether it's an aesthetic or just a performance. I think create whatever you want and lean into your, lean into what you're good at. Oh, those are good words.
I love it. We're going to have these words now running over the screen.
Thank God. Thank God.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the part which I'm pretty sure all of my viewers and listeners will be waiting for. Dragula 666.
Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 6. Hello, uglies. Welcome to Hollywood, where dreams come to die.
Can you please tell us a little bit about your overall experience while shooting and filming the 6th season of Dragula?
So how would I describe my experience of season 666 of Dragula was I didn't know what I was getting into. I did my homework. I watched, everything that I thought could be thrown our way. It changed almost immediately, right when we got there. They threw us in this movie theater. I'm meeting all these people. I see Auntie. I'm immediately scared of her because she's painted like a fucking villain. And being in that room with the first time and seeing everybody, I was, obviously nervous. I didn't know what we were getting into, but it was fun. That whole scene, doing that whole episode was a lot of fun. When you first go into the floor show, you don't know necessarily where the cameras are, what you're playing to, how long you have on stage. So you absorb a lot in the first day, just trying to see how you can improve to make the next episode better. But overall, my experience there was incredible. It was worth all of the bruises and the zaps and the bickering and all that. Like, at the end of the day, I felt like everyone there was treated with respect towards each other, and all in all, it was a wonderful experience.
I love to hear that. And yeah, as you said, that's the most important part, is the relationships that you build and the friendships that you founded along the way.
Absolutely.
Auntie?
What was the question?
I'd say Dragula, the experience of Dragula was probably the most rewarding and also most difficult physically, emotionally, and mentally experience that I've ever had in my entire life. It was exhilarating. It was exciting. It was terrifying. I think Dragula, I've been such a big fan of Dragula for a very long time. I walked into Dragula thinking that this was the most important moment of my life. It is something that I had worked for such a long time. And I knew that from the get-go, because I'm good friends with Sigourney, and I knew that there would be curveballs immediately and continuously throughout the entire thing. The competition is not only on screen, but it is off screen, and it is not just your talent and your skill and what you bring to the runway, but it is very much how you conduct yourself off camera and how you keep yourself going. I think that was really difficult because we didn't have our support people with us there. We didn't have our friends, family, anything like that. So you really had to find a way to keep yourself grounded and keep yourself going. And I think because of that, and because the whole cast were huge fans of the show, we all very much gravitated towards each other. I know that from the very beginning, Asia and Gray, so, we ended up being top 3, but Asia and Gray were definitely my people that held me up and kept me sane throughout the process. Especially Gray. Me and Gray had a lot of time together to talk, and I think I can't speak for Gray, but definitely I don't know if I could have gotten through it without Gray. So I think what was so magical and special about the experience was the moments off camera. And then when it relates to the show itself, I was scared constantly. I walked in there, had no idea what was going on, what to expect. And I'll say the most... The thing that really stood out to me and was really surprising and exciting was being able to work with the Boulets, because here we have like these icons, these people I've looked up to for years, and just like hearing their voice is like comfort to me, because I've been watching Dragula for years, and they were so kind and so loving and affirming, and I just remember thinking, oh, well, this is a lot better than Drag Race.
By the way, if
So
the
I
Boulay
don't
are
know.
watching this by any chance, I would love to have them on season 3. I did reach out for season 2. I didn't get an answer, so please reach out to me. I would love to have you
Don't
here.
worry, I'm sure they'll watch this in a few years.
Yeah. But continue, Auntie. Sorry to cut you here.
Yeah, no. Got to get that plug in there. Boobala, Swanala, come on over, okay? Yeah, no, I think what was so exciting about this entire experience is not just like being able to live our dreams, but we got to live them together, and we were all pretty much perpetually psyched that we were on this show together. So yeah, I think there was so much good, so much bad, as there is most of the time in life. But I think the most exciting and rewarding thing was to be able to go through it with these other incredible artists and to be considered one of them. That was like a dream come true.
I love hearing that.
Hello everyone. I just want to take a minute to thank our funders, the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, for their kind donation that helped make this season a reality.
Auntie and Gray, as you know, there are a lot of challenges during the season, a lot of looks. In your opinion, what were your favorite challenge? And if you have a specific look that you like the most?
Ooh. Definitely each of them threw curveballs. I think being able to lip sync in Killer Dolls was a lot of fun, especially watching it back and seeing the compilation of all of us doing it.
Yes.
I'm gonna just ramble because I'm like, you should have seen the stage after Holiday of Horrors. It was vile. It was disgusting. It was. I still don't want to put that bunny suit back on.
Right.
A lot of them stand out. It was great working with Auntie in the musical, but it was obviously even better working one-on-one because we excel together, and we're both great at characterization, and we both have a strong voice, but we don't dominate one another. We just work well as a team with a shared vision, and we snagged the win on that. So and besides that, I would say Monochrome Monsters for mine, like my favorite.
I love it. After Auntie answers, I will let you know which was my favorite outfit or like look from each of you.
Yeah, my favorite challenge was definitely Dungeons and Drag Queens. I've been looking forward to that for years. I'm a big nerd. I love that shit. Even in my audition, I was like, please give me D&D. I want to do this so bad. So that was like so much fun. I think that look also was 100%, like every single bit, every inch of that outfit was stuff that I created, and it really resonated with me. Gray talking about his love for creating and how fun it is, and sculpting, and me too. I'm an artist through and through. I got my degree in sculpture, and I love any moment that I get to create things, and I feel like that was the challenge that I really got to like show off all of my art, the things I like to do, just like take fantasy to the next level. So and then it was so much fun doing the characterization. Like they put sound effects over us, but like we were grunting. We were like, I was making up a troll language.
Wow.
He was doing all, he was like that, and I was over here like, oh, but, and you know, of course they just cut it to like us going, you know, I'm like, okay, whatever. But I had so much fun with that. I love just being able to use my imagination and have fun. So that was the one I had the most fun with. And I feel like it is really hard to say which was my favorite look because a few of them come to mind. I think my top favorites is the horror icons, the Audrey 2, the D&D, and the monochrome. I think those are all my favorites for me.
Well, to be honest here, all of your looks are beyond fantastic. Each one of them is like even better than the other.
But in my opinion, Auntie, your monochrome look is what nightmares are made of. I love it so much. There's something so weird about it. I don't know what it is, but like I'm obsessed with it. And Gray, it's actually the one that you have behind you, your crowning look.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
God, obsessed. Like, yeah, I was like literally obsessed with it for like 3 days, scrolling through your socials to see when you will post a picture so I can share it with my friends. It was beyond
I will
amazing.
be
So
getting
yeah,
some more footage of it put out there very soon.
awesome. You heard that first here at Voices Beyond Borders. Question before I move actually into the more serious questions. How is it filming the Exterminations? Is it as intense as we see from the screen, or is it like a completely different experience?
It lasts a lot longer in real life.
I'm pretty sure.
And it's painful. There are a couple that I didn't have to do that I certainly would not want to do. But yeah, I got zapped with that Tesla coil, and it went on for what felt like forever, and we were being zapped from all angles, plus
Wow.
our fingers, and the paintball absolutely sucked, and the zaps went away quickly, the paintballs did not, and I still have scars from it.
Wow. Oh my God. That's intense.
Really? I thought the paintball was so much fun. I loved that. Oh my
You were
God.
fully padded. You had a full clothing on. I had bare skin.
Listen, you at least had your head covered. I got hit multiple times in the head, but I don't know how. I don't know how you still have scars. All of mine are gone. I don't know how you still have scars. That baffled me. But you're right. I was padded. I had that big tail and everything. I thought it was so fun though.
It was fun. It was fun.
I love it.
Yeah, no, they were brutal. That was I mean, well, I had a lot of fun with the lip sync one. I mean, I think very few people on Dragula, because that's not a typical challenge.
Exactly.
We're not Drag Race yet, but but they don't do lip syncs very often, especially for a lip sync channel or what would you call it, lip sync extermination. So that was just kind of cool. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, they didn't really show anything from the lip sync, but I still had a lot of fun with that. The ice one though, in the freezer, that was the most painful experience of my life, and believe me, it was the most painful of my life. I have multiple piercings. I've had holes punched out of my ears. I have dealt with surgeries, and that was excruciating. And it did last a very long time. So yeah, not a fan.
Now, do you go into filming the season already knowing what the exterminations are, or like an idea of what they will be? Nothing?
Nope.
Wow.
Have no idea. Yeah, it was
that's crazy.
It was all a surprise for us, and we were all just like, fingers crossed we don't get the one we hate. I would have loved to have done skydiving. That was so unfair. I'm like, honestly, just send me for extermination. Like, I'll take it for you. Desiree, you don't have to go. I'll go. I will go.
Well, Yuri ended up dying on an airplane, so
that's true. That's true.
Oh. Okay, sorry. I thought you were serious for a second, but then I realized you were joking.
Exterminated on an airplane.
Gagged.
I love it.
She's dead. Bye, bitch.
Oh no.
We love
we're being nice here. By the way, so according to Drag Wiki, Auntie, you actually are the first monster to win a challenge while being cursed. And Gray, you're the first monster to actually survive being cursed twice. How does it feel having these distinctions and having this honor?
Well, it was deserved.
Those curses were deserved.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel okay. Yeah, Gray, you already know. You already know what I'm thinking, and yeah, I feel like mine was harder.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Actually, no. Whatever. They all sucked. So
They
Yeah,
did.
but
It
at
was
least at the end
such-
of the day, you still made it to the finale, and you actually, Auntie, it benefited you for the win. So I guess.
yeah, and that one and I won that. That
Yeah,
was
exactly.
I won
exciting.
during
That
my
was
curse too. I'll just say that.
Okay. Now
Did
I
you
have.
hear something? I didn't hear anything. Oh,
I
it's
didn't
so
hear anything
weird.
as well.
We both won with our curses, so
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
it sucks for
Me and
those.
Gray are pretty much the same person.
Yeah, it sucks for those who did get cursed and didn't win. But
Well,
whatever.
too bad for them. Sucks to be them, but at least you're the winners.
I think
Uh,
Asia was the one that was cursed, right?
Yeah.
Drinking
Oh well,
water.
she ended up winning the season. So this is just a hint for season 7. If you want to win challenges or win the season, get cursed.
Get cursed.
Okay, what was I forgot my question? Oh yeah. So, a very interesting question. If you get the call to come back for Titans, would you do it? Would you consider it?
I'll answer this one because listen up. We just spent a whole year doing season 6. So we need a break. We need to travel. We need
Yeah.
to improve.
Let's say in 5-6 years.
Ask me in 5 or 6 years.
Very diplomatic answer. I like that.
For now, I would like to improve as an entertainer. I want to find balance between my personal life and gray matter. And I'm not saying no to anything. I'm not saying yes to anything.
Yeah. That's a good answer.
Do you need to repeat the question?
Do we need to repeat it? Okay, if you want to just move past it. I love it. Okay, that was your answer, I guess.
Yes.
Perfect. I still have a few more questions. I'm not gonna take a lot of time again, but I'm done with Dragula questions and all of that. I want to hear from both of you. What does drag actually mean to each one of you? Like, how do you, how do you feel about it? What does it mean to you personally?
So, I think drag really helped me embrace my queerness, especially seeing it on television and seeing it in our, our bubbles at, clubs and bars. And entertainment in general is escaping reality, and it has a positive effect on people. Like, entertainment's not going anywhere. So I think drag is very important. It allows people to escape their hectic lives for a minute and just enjoy what's in front of them. Being behind the makeup as a drag entertainer, it's something that I'm passionate about. I love pretty much every aspect of it, even if I'm uncomfortable as hell. It allows us to connect with people. It gets me out of my shell. I get to do things as gray matter that I wouldn't necessarily be as comfortable doing out of drag. So I think drag really does bring people together. It does have opposition out there for people that just can't understand that it's for entertainment, and so much more comes out of drag than just putting on clothes and stuff.
That's so true.
Your voice gets to be heard. You get to share messages. You get to share happiness, and I think that's, for me, one of the most important things about drag.
I kind of agree with you. Again, I'm not a drag performer, but seeing you guys perform and doing this art form and being so loud and proud about it makes me feel empowered in a way. But it also, I don't know how I'm gonna explain it. Aside from being empowered just to express myself, I also feel like I can be a part of something bigger than just myself. And this is just me talking. I see you through a screen, or I just attend a few shows here in my country. But there's something about drag that is so loud, so big, that I feel sorry for the people who do not understand its true power, unfortunately. Auntie, what about you? What does drag mean to you?
Well, I always say at the end of my shows to my audiences, drag is about art, it is about love, it is about community and acceptance. And everybody in the audience is a part of that. And I think that drag is a caricature of expression. It is a way to play with identity, because I think drag gives you the permission to play, really. I think it's a way to be able to explore your identity, what you want to be, and laugh about it, have fun, look like a fool if you want to, and really discover who you are. Because at the beginning of my drag journey, I think I was I was a much different person out of drag, and I think the power that drag gives people, it gives us, everybody is in on it. Whether it's a joke, whether it's a fantasy, everybody is in on the fantasy with you. And I just feel like when people do drag, the audience wants to see what's going on. You want to explore and have fun with it, and it gives you this space to kind of play, be yourself, and like I had said, this power of, where it's like, oh, people love me, people love what I do, and I can kind of play more with that. And over time, you start to realize that, because I know for me it was, well, people love Auntie, they don't love Steven. People are so interested in the character or what I'm doing, they don't really care about me as a person. And over time, I started to realize that, well, that is me, like I think Auntie really started to bleed into my life, and it gave me the courage and the permission to be who I am as a person, out loud and proud, and just be completely authentically myself. And I think that's what drag does for people. And anybody that is questioning whether they want to do drag, even you, if you've been kind of like wondering about that stuff, it's like, do it. It is so worth it. It is so integral in your journey to discovering and loving who you are as a person. And that's what drag is about through and through.
I love that. I actually have no comment here. Thank you so much, both of you, for doing this. Okay, I have actually 2 more questions and we're done. You can go back to your lives after this. What's next for the both of you? Like, do you have any big projects coming out? Tours, maybe? Performances? Anything you can go about?
I think now that the show has fully aired, it allows us, we now have a full vision of what the show is. We do get to go on a tour. We don't have many details about that just yet, but all we can do is look back on past seasons and what they've done with their tour. So we are expecting a tour, and we're very much looking forward to actually meeting the fans. I'll say, when you're on a television show and you have prompts and there's drama involved and all of this, you might have this misconception or this idea of what this person is really like. And we are all very different outside of the pressure cooker, and the way to get to know who we are, what we stand for, is really, if you can, to come see us live. If you didn't have a TV show to base your perceptions on, you would only be able to see us live. And just, we're not dramatic. We're here. Exactly. We're silly. We're good. We want to have fun. We want to entertain you. We want to connect with you. So I think really just touring and traveling and getting to meet people and explore places is at the top of my priority list this year. Going to keep it up with the content and pushing my monsters and coming up with concepts and keeping myself happy and being able to work with my hands and stuff like that. But as of right now, that's it. Just trying to find balance between, work and play.
Cool. Thank you. What about you, Auntie?
Well, yeah, I going back to what Grace said about us doing season 6 for the last year. I think the season ended with the finale, and I had 4 days to myself, 3 days. And then I went on a Midwest tour with Jaharia, and it's just been like constant traveling and doing gigs. And this is the first time that I've had a moment to breathe. So I think I'm kind of taking the whole month of January to just chill for a little bit, reassess my life and everything, because it has been a whirlwind. It's been very difficult to absorb everything. So, I finally have this chance to breathe. But I do, being a workaholic myself and constantly wanting to create things, that it's hard for me to just sit and rest. I do have a lot of things on the back burner. I'm working on a new one-woman show where it is going to be very theatrical, not typical drag numbers. I think the most exciting thing for me when I was on my Midwest tour was I did a lot of my cabaret singing. And a lot of people don't know what I do. I mix, like, it's not just the pageant and the horror and the alternative. Like, I juxtapose a lot of things with me and my drag. So I do a lot of hosting and singing and comedy. I actually got to do stand-up comedy in West Hollywood in October, which was really cool. So I plan on, really honing in a lot of those things into a new show. So I'm working on a new live show that I'm hopefully going to be touring with once I got that down. Of course, I'll be starting with Rockford and kind of working on that. And I'm also working on a couple of film projects that are TBD. So yeah, once those are out there, I'll let everybody know. But otherwise, I'm not a big social media bitch, so I'm just trying to keep up with what the children are doing these days, and trying to hashtag things, I guess. But ultimately, I'm very excited for this tour. I think they said in the podcast they're projecting like a summer this summer, hopefully. So I'm just I'm super excited to be with my two darlings, Gray and Asia, and honestly just live our dreams, because we've been working for this for such a long time.
Awesome. I'm also gonna, for everyone listening and or watching us, I'm gonna have your Gray Matters and Auntie's social media handles and links up on the screen and the description. So please make sure to follow them and follow up with their news and updates. So if you're wanting to attend one of their shows, you would know where to go. And I also hope I can get to see both of you actually in person if I ever get the chance to go back to the US. So let's hope that will work out and I can attend your shows as well. This actually drives me to my final question. What is your message to everyone listening to us today?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I think, gray matter for me is a lot of things. I was able to share my message about sobriety, and it's okay to ask for help. There are people out there that want to help you, and everyone wants to see you do better. I would say never get complacent in your life. Always strive to do the next right thing, and just to keep improving every aspect of your life, and really cherish and make time for things that make you happy, because at the end of the day, we don't have that much time on this planet, and if you're just all work and no play, that makes Jack a dull boy. So that's my little tip.
I like that.
Same. Okay, Auntie.
Well, and I guess in that same avenue, my message is red rum. Red rum.
I love that.
I think my message is let's see. Put it in a telegraph for you. So, oh my God. Okay. Focus. Okay. I say my message is to remember to always be yourself and live your authentic lives. I know that life can be hard sometimes and it can be scary to be yourself. And there's nothing wrong with hiding that when you need to. Obviously, survival is the most important thing that we can do. And sometimes this world, it seems very scary to be ourselves. But just remember that every time that you are yourself, every time that you live your authentic life, there is somebody out there that sees what you do and they are inspired by you, and you give them the courage and the strength to be themselves, just like somebody once did that for you. Every time you walk out that door and every time that you are your gay, queer, any sort of self, you could be heterosexual and just be anything. Anytime you are truly you, somebody in the world is going to see you and you are going to save their life. So just remember that when it gets hard, you are touching lives every day.
I just got chills, by the way. Thank you, both of you, Auntie and Gray. You have no idea how happy and honored to have you on my podcast here. And I'm just hoping that everyone listening to us today or watching this video later when it's on YouTube, that one, they were able to get to know you more, about your artistry more, and also the amazing drag that you do. So thank you so much for being open and being just this fun and bubbly personality with me today.
I know I really appreciate it, and it's great to have Auntie here because we're all leading these crazy lives. So I really appreciate what you do and the avenue that you provide for people like us. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Like, honestly, I know that we're these big, Dragula stars, I suppose, but we're just like normal people. And I'm sure that Gray can relate that this just feels wild that you even want to talk to us. So thank you so much for giving us the space and just treating us with love and respect. And I hope that we can, touch some lives with this.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who have tuned in for this episode today. I hope that you were able to learn more about the amazing drag and the amazing stories of Grey Matter and Auntie Heroine. And I hope that you were able to learn more about what is alternative drag and its amazing artistry. Until next time, please make sure to follow us and subscribe to the channel and stay safe. See you, everyone.